I'm Renee.
And I'm Anthony, and we are the voices, healers, and channelers behind Blue Soul Earth. We connect to higher levels of consciousness to bring forth divine energies, to heal and to teach ancient wisdom.
These energies that we access from higher dimensions largely consist of the ascended masters that humanity across cultures knows really well. They are many, but they speak collectively as one voice. And for simplicity's sake, we call them our spirit team.
How we channel as a couple is very unique. The energies we channel come down through Renee's crown chakra, through her solar plexus, into my solar plexus, and then back up through my crown chakra, and it forms a three-dimensional triangle that's used to heal and to teach.
These energies flow through us a bit like an infinity 8. The symbolism behind why and how this happens is actually pretty profound.
It's actually accessing divine feminine and divine masculine energies, weaving them together to form one energy to heal and to teach.
We will be channeling different topics in roughly 10 to 15 minute segments that will be part of our Blue Soul Wisdom series.
So if you're just starting out on your spiritual journey,
or if you'd like to access higher levels of consciousness,
or you'd like to take your healing practice to the next level,
then join us.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Anthony.
And I'm Renee, and we're here today to talk about magic. Not magic tricks or not magic in a box, but the lost art of magic from ancient times. In modern day, we tend to think of magic differently. We don't think about magic as it correlates to things that we actually have the ability to do. We are referring to a different kind of magic. This is a kind of magic that as human beings, we all have access to because we all have access to higher dimensions and hidden worlds in which we can tap into and gain knowledge from.
Our guides often tell us that we have magic in our hands and in our eyes and in our words, and that many times we lose our magic as we get older and we become adults.
So we're also going to read from The Lost Art of Enochian Magic by John DeSalvo. And in here he talks about some of these hidden worlds from higher dimensions. I'm just going to read a little bit from this book. These outer worldly realms are not in your imagination, and nor are they in your mind, but they are real and they have independent existence. These realms would remain present even if our physical realm were completely destroyed. They don't depend on us for existence. In fact, it's the other way around. We're in a sense shadows of them, and their world is more real than ours. We are simply a reflection of these higher realms.
Well, let's bring our guides through and see what they have to say about Enochian magic.
And the magic that existed in ancient civilizations such as from the Sumerians, the Akkadians, the Babylonians, and the Egyptians.
Sounds good.
All right, we're going to bring our guides through. Hi, guys.
It is always an honor and privilege to be in your presence, Gaia. Thank you for receiving us.
We're talking about magic.
Magic with a K.
Well, magic with a C in this case, Enochian magic.
Ah, yes.
And the lost magic that so many ancient civilizations used and still use today.
We know what you want to talk about. Magic. Where has it gone?
Where has it gone? Indigenous elders still use magic in a way. They bring their gods in to perform magic around particular rituals at particular times.
Your religions do the same exact thing. They just don't call it magic, do they? They turn wine into blood, bread into flesh, don't they? They're using magic as well. Many of your pagans, as you call them, use magic. All of the shamans use magic. The witches use magic. Even every time you say, I wish, for something to happen. Or I hope that this could happen. Or I wished I could hit the lotto. You're actually using an incantation of magic. You just don't realize it. Every time you put a thought upon something, whether you consider it to be good or bad, that is magic. The problem is that you've lost your magic. Human beings, as they've gotten older, have lost their magic. And they don't realize that even their science comes from magic. Even their quantum physics is magic. But they refuse to see. But now you're starting to. You're starting to understand that once was magic is now your science, and vice versa. You see, all of these things go together. The ancient Sumerians, Babylonians, they all knew these things. The Egyptians knew these things. The Jewish Kabbalah knew these things. Even in ancient Asia, they all knew these things as well. And they still do practice magic with their herbs.
They do, with their herbs, but also with various rituals that they perform as well.
You will find some who practice acupuncture who must do certain rituals as well when they're performing it. They don't refer to it as magic, but it is a ritual that must be performed so that the acupuncture works accordingly.
Now, it was always believed that you had to do magic, whatever you wanted to refer to it, whether it was a ritual or a chant or an herbal concoction, and it had to be exact, it had to be precise. There was sort of a formula that went along with it, and he even talks about this in the book.
Let us tell you this. The reason why the precision was so important back then, it was done primarily for those who were considered priests, priestesses, those that were considered high teachers, and that only they could perform these rituals and these magic spells. So everything had to be done precisely, exactly the way they prescribed it. And if you didn't do it the way they prescribed it, then you were doing it wrong.
Oh, it was the same with indigenous elders in Peru and ancient Mexico.
As it is today, handed down from one generation to another. Now, we're all for cleanliness, preciseness. However, paradigms are meant to be broken, aren't they? Some things that once were true in the past aren't necessarily true now.
Tell us why that is.
It was only a way to control you, to keep you feeling separated from who you truly are. It was a way to put the power in the hands of few instead of the many, which you are. It was a way to say, you are beneath me and I have power over you, because I know the precision of the codes. I know the precision of the numbers. I know the precisions of these songs, and you don't. And if you wish to learn, then you must study under my tutelage. But that is not so. For each human being is a temple in and of her and himself.
But certainly with teaching and training of certain sequences, whether it's magic or something like martial arts, there is a particular way of doing things that you do need to learn under a master.
That is true. There is a curriculum that you must learn. That will be your foundation. And we will tell you this, it is always good to study with a teacher, a master, or a number of teachers or masters. But it is through that, your studies, that you gain your foundation and you're able to go on and create yourselves. And that's really what it's all about. It's not following the direct orders or the direct precision of numbers, frequencies, diagrams, but they are there to be used as a foundation on which you would build your spiritual tree. You see, your enlightenment now is occurring. What they did in the past, you are doing now, if there really is a past. But for time's sake, we will say there is. We will say that this is all in the past. And that what you're doing now, that this magic is the foundation on which you are now evolving. And that which you are now creating your own new magic. And you refer to that as intention. And that in lies your greatest power of magic, your intention. By simply thinking and intending it, then it can happen, because you are great creators.
But there's also magic in some of these numbers and tables, for example. So it was believed in this channeling to Dr. D that the tables of Enoch held certain codes and certain frequencies that created magic, whether it was in meditation or really accessing the angel realm and beyond. Were they channeled in a specific way because that was needed back then?
Were they channeled in a specific way because that's what was needed?
Because those codes in those tables were what was needed to access the so-called angelic realm.
The codes were channeled in that way because that is the way that they decided to channel them. It was specific to the way they channeled back then. Whether it be looking into a mirror, looking into water, looking into the sand, this is how information would come to them. And then they would write it down somehow.
Actually, his partner did indeed do that. They did do some scrying and looking into crystal balls as part of the process of receiving these tables.
You have evolved from scrying into water. We are not saying that it can't be done, but you don't need to do that now, because as a human species, your evolution, your spirituality has evolved from what it once was. Now you can sit and meditate either by yourself or in a group, and the answers will come to you. You will trust the visions that are given to you. You will trust the words that are given to you. You will trust what is given to you from above. You will trust your dreams. So you see, there are even many more of you now working your magic. And when you all come together, because magic is something to be shared with each other, like Reiki, to be shared with each other. This is when you become even more powerful as a human consciousness together. Does that answer the question a bit?
Yes. In fact, I think of Holy Fire Reiki as a great example of this enhancement, right? Where they used the traditional Reiki as a foundation and then they built upon it to create this Holy Fire Reiki. So it's similar, and both pieces and aspects of it create magic in their healing.
That is correct. When you have a foundation, you continue to build upon that foundation. And you continue to evolve. Your magic as a human consciousness, as a human species, has evolved to where it is now. And it continues to evolve more and more. Each and every day, the more you learn, the more you sit, the more you read, the more that you and Anthony practice together, you both become even more powerful. So you can give these informations to your students so that someday your students will build upon the knowledge that was given to you, and then they will give it to their students. Do you see? It truly is an act of creation. And creation itself is magic. And with that, we will leave.
Okay, thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for receiving us. We are sure we will see you again. Blessed be.
Blessed be. So our guides are leaving now, and Anthony's going to be back momentarily. But we hope you enjoyed our very short chat this evening about magic. What does magic mean to you? How do you use magic in your own lives? Do you believe that you have magic in your hands, in your eyes, in your voice?
I believe it. I believe it now.
So,
I believe we all have magic.
We all have magic indeed. And so the key is to realize the magic that we have, bring it forward, use it, and share it for good.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much, and we hope to see you soon.
Bye-bye now.